Welcome to Entrepreneurs International Network, where entrepreneurs learn, network, and grow. I'm Roger Killen, the Community Manager. Today, Mary Cravets is going to help you attract more clients by simplifying your marketing. But before Mary starts, I've got 3 questions that will help us get to know Mary at a personal level as opposed to a professional level. Mary, question number 1. What would you describe as being your greatest accomplishment?
My greatest accomplishment, marrying my husband, hands down. Like, I got a winner. We just fit hand in glove. He loves to cook. I don't. He loves to kind of just support the house, and I love to run a business. So that's probably my biggest accomplishment, is being smart enough to marry that man.
Well done. Second question, perhaps related. What's the best decision you've ever made?
Oh my gosh, we were just talking, my husband and I were just talking about this the other day. We moved to a new town, and we didn't have a lot of money, and we didn't know anybody. And I just started my first entrepreneurial venture, and we just paid off the car, and I went to a seminar, and I immediately hired a coach, replacing our car payment that we thought we were going to save. And my husband looked at me like I was absolutely insane. But I looked at him the other day, we were in Big Sur for his birthday. And I looked at him, I said, you know what, we would not be here if I had not hired that coach. 100%, 100% positive on that.
Well, I'm happy for you both. And again, related, what's your favorite way of relaxing?
Oh, I make jewelry. Actually, this is all actually everything I'm wearing, not that. Everything else I make. I love it. And I also love going to the beach and picking up rocks and creating little things. Those are all natural found rocks. Nature made those. That's amazing.
Okay, couple of messages for participants. Would you please turn on your video? In other words, come on camera. Mary is going to get a big chunk of the energy she needs to run this 1-hour high impact show. And if you are off camera, it compromises the energy she's receiving from you. So if you can possibly, please come on camera. Stay muted. Mary will indicate how she would like to handle questions as we go through her talk. Now, this workshop is going to be recorded, and you'll be sent a link to the recording, which will be on the EIN YouTube channel, but you'll be sent that link tomorrow, sometime tomorrow. Mary, are you ready to knock our socks off?
I am ready.
Then I'm going to remove the spotlight from me. Remove spotlight, and the show is all yours. Take it away. Wow us.
All right, fantastic. So as Roger says, today is all about attracting more clients by simplifying your marketing. And I heard how that word just jumped out at many of you. So let's start with a question for you. Get ready to raise your hand. Here you go. Do you ever feel like this? My brain has too many tabs open. So many things going on. Okay, yes, I see Julie O'Connell, who wins the award for Best Active Listener, but also all of you for raising your hands. Well, here's the good news about today if you've got this overwhelm going on. Today is not about doing more and more and more. And I hope that's okay with you. Today is about understanding how to maximize what is already working, because what I know about you is you are accomplished, you're smart. I am here today with structure and a system so you can bring your gifts, bring your brilliance to the table, maximize them so you can be getting more clients, earning more money, and making a bigger impact with less effort. And in order to do that, it's all about focus. So I'm going to start that focusing process right here at the top of the hour. So what do you actually need? If you're not bringing in all the new business you want, not the kind of business you want, or not the kind of business you want, then there's an issue in one of just 3 areas, usually. So either number 1, you don't have a comprehensive client generation plan. Without a plan, you're likely feeling busy instead of productive, maybe like you're spinning your wheels. or there is something getting in the way of implementation. And this falls under two categories. Either number one, you're distracted by bright, shiny objects, or number two, you have too much business coming in, and so you're beyond your capacity. So if that's happening, you're not going to be able to build momentum. You're going to experience lulls. It's often an implementation problem. And the third thing is maybe you just need to improve lead generation. And this usually means maximizing a current strategy or building skills in a new strategy. Otherwise, you'll be dabbling in too many things and you will not be getting traction. So that's our starting point. Plan, implement, lead gen. You're going to get lots of tips and tactics customized to your business that you can implement right away. But bigger picture, looking at the growth of your business and client generation, this is the most important thing for you to get crystal clear about today. Which of these is your priority? So how am I going to help get you there? Here is what we will cover. Number one, you're going to learn a simple mindset tool that melts resistance to implementing marketing. Number two, you're going to create a customized lead generation strategy that will allow you to stop wasting time and money on things that don't work. And number three, you're going to get the 6 essential elements of an effective client generation plan that makes it easier to attract clients, grow your income, and make a bigger impact in the world. I will be including case studies. I often find that there are additional resources that I can provide as we go along. So make sure to be ready to take notes, be ready to send me a quick email if you want any of these resources you're hearing about. And I usually do a drawing at the end if we have time. So a lot of fun. Regarding questions, I'm going to make time about halfway through for questions after you do the first exercise. Otherwise, you can put them in the Q&A anytime, but I'm going to stay focused on teaching the concepts step by step by step, keeping the structure intact so you can get all the ahas, and we'll break for questions for anything that was not handled. Okay, so the housekeeping is now officially out of the way. So now, I want you to open up your chat window. I am going to ask you a question that I would like to get the short answer to. I know we went over this in your introductions. I just want to recapture it here quickly. So here's the question. Open your chat, put your fingers on the keyboard, get ready to answer your question and go. Why is this topic important to you? You have many, many, many other places where you could be today, but you're here. So in, let's say, 8 words or less, why is this important to you? Simple, to get more leads, networking through this medium. Let's see, generate leads, marketing, love to grow, building a new business. Okay, marketing is like oxygen. Determine if it's worth it. You know, that's a fair comment. Value collective thought, successful business, networking. Start getting my name and voice out there. Oh, Julie, your voiceover, perfect. Want to explore more ideas and ways to get franchisees, need sales. All right. Okay, perfect. I did see the word simplify in there, the word leads. Yes, that's what all of this is about. Perfect. Thank you for that. You all get a gold star for participation so far. So the first thing that I always wonder when I'm attending something like this is, you know, did this person who's presenting, did they read this in a book last week? Is this theory or is this actual real life experience? So just a quick background for me. So yes, today I have an 11-year-old business. It's I've always run it virtually, so I have the freedom of location, and we're headed for the 500,000 mark in the next couple of years. We're tiny but mighty. But when I started this, it did not look anything like this. I was running around like a crazy person. I was so excited because I finally started a business that was all about contributing to the prosperity of others, contributing to my own household's prosperity. So I ran in a million directions. I had no plan. I undercharged, undervalued, and it only took me 2 years to completely burn out. In the 2-year mark, I was diagnosed with extreme adrenal exhaustion, and I found myself with 4 hours of energy a week to run my business. So what was I going to do? Well, as I was trying to figure it out, what I was going to do, a question popped into my head, and this is the first thing I recommend you write down. The question that popped into my head was, what's working? What's working. I no longer had the time or energy to run around after the latest, greatest marketing trends that were going on. I no longer had time to figure out what Facebook was doing with its algorithm this week. I needed to know that whatever I put my very, very limited energy into, that energy would turn into dollars and new business. And so starting with that one question, my business started to grow as my health recovered. And then over time, it developed into a bigger client generation strategy. And that's what you're seeing on the screen right now. This is what has helped me double my business several times over. It's the reason my clients consistently and quickly increase their income 50% or more. And it's what I'm going to share with you today. So from all of these experiences, the laughter and the tears, I learned 3 things for sure. Number 1, anyone can learn how to create a steady stream of new business. Even if you feel resistant to marketing, I did it when I was sick. Anyone can do this. Number 2, you've got to customize. There is not one size fits all cookie cutter approach to growing your business. You've got to have a customized strategy. And third, business can be a lot easier when you have the structure in place that is customized to you. So let's start right now with learning that simple mindset tool that melts resistance to implementing marketing. Because the thing is, even if I gave you the most wonderful strategies, the biggest ahas, the brightest light bulbs shining over your head today, if your mindset is off, if you are resistant to marketing, or if you always put client generation at the bottom of your list, or if you resist putting yourself out there, then without addressing mindset, you are likely to snap back to doing what you've always done. So here is the tool. It is a single, simple question that gently but persistently shifts your perspective. Am I willing for this to be easy? That's it. And this is because your brain is wired to say yes. So when you are facing something, when you're building, when you're trying to figure something out and you're like, oh my gosh, this is so difficult, your brain says, you got it. I will make this difficult for you. Let me throw some obstacles and stress in your way. This question kind of sneaks in and gets your brain to say yes before it even knows what's happening. And if you say it like a mantra, am I willing for this to be easy? Am I willing for this to be easy? When you're facing something that you generally feel resistant or challenged around, your brain starts to say yes. Yes, let me do away with the pesky stress and resistance. Let me serve up some simple solutions. And in using this question as a foundation, it's not just like a fluffy thing. It can make a profound difference, not just in your stress levels, but also in your bottom line results. And I think some of the best teaching is through stories. So I'm going to tell you Candace's story around this. This is Candace. She was too busy to scale up. She had a successful training and coaching company. But for years, she had been taking on way too many clients at way too low of a price point. She wanted to build out a training organization with consultants and everything, but she just kept not moving in the right direction. And she always feeling like when she was with her family, she felt like she should be working. When she was working, she felt like she should be with her family. And it was just this endless cycle that she could not see a way out of. She fundamentally did not believe that she could have a successful, financially successful business and a life. So before we could dive into her scaling strategies and talking about hiring and adjusting her pricing and programs, we had to address her mindset. But when we did, she doubled her business 2 years in a row, actually, and she has more time off than ever. So this is not just a kind of fluffy, nice to have. This is the starting place to make significant change. All right, now you're going to do some work. Okay, so if you don't already have something to write on, take notes on, this is where you're going to want to get that out, because you're going to create a customized lead generation strategy that will allow you to stop wasting time and money on things that don't work. And I heard several people talk about this, about how there are so many options. There's so many ways to get your name out there, to grow your business. How do you distinguish your winning combination of lead generation actions from all of the noise that is out there? Well, that's what we're going to work on next. You're going to start, just to show you where you are on the map. This is what we're going to start next and start your customized plan. And the starting place is to stop the overwhelm. every idea in your head, everything you're considering, everything that you're seeing people do out there in the marketplace and think, oh, maybe I'm going to miss the boat on that. All of that is taking your energy, taking your focus, taking your life, and we want to get all of that put to rest. And the way to do that is to get it out of your head and onto the page. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you 1 minute. I'm going to be completely quiet so you can do this while we're here today. I'm going to give you 1 minute to brainstorm all of the considerations, all the marketing activities you do consistently, everything you do inconsistently, everything you think you should be doing or are curious about trying or seeing advertised or keeps you up at night, everything, everything, everything. This is about quantity, not quality. We're going to sort it out in just a few minutes, but to start with, you got to reclaim your energy and stop the overwhelm. So I'm going to give you 1 minute starting right now. Just create a list. It might look something like that.
Hey, Mary, can you go back to the previous page?
Yep. Thanks for asking. Oops, sorry. Here we go.
Back again, Mary.
Oh my gosh, sorry, I'm trying to make a quick note to myself. There you go. Got about 10 seconds. All right, and 3, 2, 1, pencils down. Okay, so this is what your list might look like. Big, long list, lots of ideas. This is not the answer key that you're looking at right here. This is simply an example. Okay, so now how do you zero in on what works for you? Well, I'd like you to create a second column right next to the first column. And I want you to list the names of, let's say, 5 great clients. People is, if you had 5 more, 10 more, 20 more, 100 more of these people, your business would be fabulous. You just want to multiply these people. Now, I want to call your attention to the screen, the upper right-hand corner, right next to the clients. You see that smiley face? That's because you want to write down only great clients, clients who pay you on time and appreciate your services, because this is going to multiply. What I'm going to show you is going to help you multiply whatever you put in this column. And so if you put PETA clients in here, those pain in the ass clients that give you a frown line between your eyebrows or your stomach sinking, that sinking feeling, it's going to multiply them, and you do not want that. So write down the name of 5 fantastic clients. Now, how do you create a bridge between your marketing actions and getting clients you just adore and who adore you back? Take a line, draw it from the name of the client back to the strategy that brought them to your door. What you'll generally find is there is a concentration. And this is what forms the foundation of your plan, showing you where to focus your precious time and energy so you get the best results. Now, I already know what the next question is, because I heard several of you have a new business, so you don't have the client list right now. So I'm going to give you a different evaluation, and then we're going to take a break for questions. So if you do not have clients yet, but you did your marketing brainstorm, here is how you will evaluate. You're going to write down 3 words just off to the side somewhere. Don't worry about where you put them. 3 words. The first word is like, L-I-K-E, like. The second word is know, as in knowledge, K-N-O-W. So know, like and know. And the last word is results. Like, know, results. So what I want you to do is go through that marketing list, and I want you to put a check mark next to all of the things that you like to do. This will start you out on the right foot of doing things that you do not have resistance to. So check mark next to all the things you like to do. You're going to go through the list a second time and put a check mark next to the ones you know how to do right now. This shortens your learning curve, shortens your time between you and a new client and getting paid. So go through, check mark next to the ones you know how to do right now. And the third thing is you want to go through and look at which of these strategies traditionally gets results in your industry. And you may have to do a little research around this. And I highly recommend that you talk to people who will actually tell you the truth about what's going on in their business. It is very easy. I'm sure all of you know, everybody looks so freaking successful on social media. You really have to ask some people who will take you into their confidence and who are successful at what they're doing, and ask them what are the strategies they're using. The things that you find that have 3 check marks next to them, the things you like to do, the things you know how to do, and the things that bring results traditionally in your industry, those things are gonna be your starting point. Okay, so I am going to pull down the slides and take some questions. I'd love to know what you discovered. Where's your business coming from? In the chat, or unmute yourself and just jump on in.
I seem to have gotten a lot of my clients from trade shows, which I find really interesting, and referrals. Those I realized I went to biggest when I did the links, and these are the clients that I really like.
Excellent.
So that's where it's got me thinking now.
Yay. Okay, I'm good. I'm out. I got someone thinking. Wonderful. Thanks for sharing.
Thank you for bringing that to my awareness.
You're welcome. I see some people saying referrals and networking. Let's see, Greg, what did you find?
Yeah, I was just going to emphasize referrals. People, and I think that in a lot of businesses, people buy from people they know, like, and trust. And if they don't know them, they can rely on someone else, one of their friends that does. So
Yeah.
it underscores, we developed a giving back program where we pay out 5% for an introduction to any company, individual or not-for-profit that pushes business our way. So it just underscores that being good.
100%. That is, for service-based businesses, the #1 source of business is through referrals. And yet most people don't know how to become systematic about generating referrals. But guess what? You know that coaching company I told you I hired? They just taught referrals. So that was the very first thing I learned. That's one of the reasons why I was so fortunate. So thanks for that, Greg. I appreciate it.
And you would have no problem referring them, would you?
Not at all. Not at all. Except we're actually, before I forget, because I can get sucked into the questions. For anyone who wants to know how to generate more referrals, like systematically and relationship-based, because Craig, here's something interesting. There are studies that have shown that in some cases, offering a referral fee makes people reluctant to some people reluctant to refer because we don't want to be accused of acting in self-interest. Interesting thing. So there is the way I have built my business is through relational referrals, and Roger and I have talked about this too. So anyway, I have a 90-minute course I'm happy to give to anyone who wants it. My gift to you, called Referral Generation Made Simple: how to ask without feeling awkward. What is a relational referral? How is it different from a transactional referral? How do you build centers of influence who can bring you multiple referrals? So if you would like to get your hands on that, just send me an email. Don't put it in the chat. I will never find it. Send me an email, mary@simplygetclients.com. And I think Roger's going to put that in the chat, and make the subject line smile. Mary@simplygetclients.com, subject line smile. My team will get you access to our learning platform and give you access to referral generation, because most people want more referrals, but they don't think it's something they have a degree of control over. Okay, what else? What else? Let's see. Zoom volunteering, committee meeting. Brian says, I noticed one of my clients is a mystery client. Yeah.
I don't have that link, the referral link.
Oh, it's just my email here.
Oh.
I have it right here. So I'll copy it and put it into the chat.
Okay, well, I've got your email, mary@simplyclients.com.
Simplygetclients.com. Subject line, smile. I have the most cheerful inbox of anybody I know.
Okay, so I've just posted that in the chat.
Fantastic. Thank you. Okay, let's see. Questions, referrals, volunteer and activity network. Any questions? Anything not come out the way you expected or not tidy? Because I can be very helpful with that.
Mary, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
So our company, we actually target mid to large size corporations. It's all a B2B service platform. So we're utilizing a series of advertising campaigns, everything from actual television mass media within our local area. We also do very personalized mailing campaigns, actually hard copy, brochures and things that will be hard for them to dismiss, right? The email, you just delete. Well, we're spending the money actually on FedEx or UPS, making sure something arrives in their hands.
Right.
The center of my question is, how do we go about querying a client to what's caused them to act, right? So we know that there's a sales process. In our case, it could be 3 to 6 months before we're actually getting a client to return a phone call and entertain, a deep discussion. So it's a collective campaign from a lot of things coming at them, be it weekly emails, the information I've said we're mailing to them. We've got, spots going on in various publications. So I don't know what's working. All this A/B process of different campaigns. It's like, and I'm wondering, what do I cut back on? Do I stop the?
I have a suggestion, and that is, have you asked?
Well, that's the question. No, I've not asked, right? So
yeah. And here's the thing. One thing about asking for something like this that works really well is how you ask. Trigger event. I see Ben said, asking them, see what was going on. Like, we've been keeping in touch for a little while. I'd really love your advice because people, more than their opinion, they're more than a favor for sure, but they love to give advice. And again, I'm a social psychology nerd. And so I love the research on things like this. So advice was the winning word. So love your advice. What got your attention? Customers are usually very happy to share that.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. All right. Let's see. Other questions? Let's see. Mitch says, how do I calculate what my marketing budget should be just starting out? So Mitch, I will tell you, when I started, I didn't know about marketing budgets. I just knew about referrals. I truly, and I still don't really have them. I guess I have a marketing budget. My accountant knows that. So I'm not a really good person to ask, but what I would say is for some of the things you're doing, it's about relationships. It's going to be, you've been in the industry for a while. You've been around for a while. I assume you have a good reputation, and starting with your network is very inexpensive. I duct taped. I didn't do a business because I was like this born entrepreneur. I did it because it fell in my lap and then I needed to eat. And so I had a real focus on that eating part, which meant money coming in. So as simple as possible. What's the easiest way to do it? And someone mentioned pumpkin plan. I think that's probably a good place to look to. Mike Michalowicz, basically, I will eat and I will read anything he creates. I'll eat anything. No, I'll read anything he creates. Let's see. Nadine says, how do we understand what our mainstream marketing is willing to pay for and how to target them? Oh, you know what, Nadine, what is your service or product? Art. Okay. So I work with, let me just give you a comparison. I work with a lot of people who are coaches, consultants, trainers, or have a consultative aspect to their work. It's subjective. It is entirely subjective. So I joke that if you would like to drive yourself crazy, go out onto the internet and find out what a coach is charging. They are charging the same as you, more than you, less than you, much more than you, much less than you. I mean, it's across the board. And I think what is in art, I imagine, is the same, very subjective. And raise the bar, make your messaging, I'm going to talk about this in a minute, make your messaging match the level of client you're looking for. Make sure you're going to the places they go. It's about all these pieces being in alignment. It's about all of the pieces, your messaging, your where you go to find the people. All of that has to be aligned more so than what are they going to pay for it. That gets tricky because then you become market dependent instead of creating the market. And with art, with coaching, with a lot of things, you really can set the bar. You have to set the bar. I have a client who sells art photography or fine art photography. And you got to set that bar high because there are people they do not understand. And you don't want to be working with the do not understands. You do not want to be going to where they are. You want to be going where your ideal clients are.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, I'm going to do one more question, and then I'm going to keep going to make sure I get to everything. Anthony asked, what if I do not know who my clients are? Should I just start with a demographic? Yes. So Anthony, I'm going to talk a little bit about this in a minute. So I'm going to go through client generation, the bigger picture. I did the earn while you learn thing. I did not do a lot of reflecting and planning, which obviously I should have done some, but I did not do a lot of that. Instead, I was like, well, I don't know. I can do this thing. Who wants it? I'm going to networking and I'm saying my thing and who wants it and who wants it and who wants it. And what I found out after a couple of years in business, besides the burnout, I found out that coaches, consultants, and trainers really vibed with what I did. And so, but all along the way, I was taking on ideal clients, non-ideal clients, really crappy clients, PETA clients, awesome clients. I was taking everything. So I was at least making paid market research is what I think of it as. Okay, paid market research. So get out there, have a basic framework. That's what I'm going to teach next. Once you work within that, you're going to be headed in the right direction. Okay. All right, I'm going to keep going with the content just to make sure that we get to everything. Okay, so it's nice to know, like, okay, here's the strategy, but now what? What do you do with it? So the first thing you got to do is get very specific. You want to translate those strategies into actions. If your strategy is referral, what actions are you going to take? If your strategies are speaking, what are you going to do about that? By the way, if anyone wants to do more speaking, I have a resource around that too. Just let me know. Translate your strategies into actions. Otherwise, they will be a plan, but not an action plan. You're going to define your activity level. Are you going to, so one of the referral activities people generally do is go to networking events. So what's the activity level? How many of those are you going to go to? Right? And then put it into your calendar. This lead generation, proactive lead generation is one of the important, not urgent until it's urgent things on your calendar, and it can fall to the bottom of the list. So put it in your calendar so that it is something that will actually have a space and keep your appointment with yourself. And then it's a matter of tracking your activity and results, because here's where we want to go. What we do with our clients is we create a formula. It literally becomes a formula where it's, here's your checklist of activities. You do this many networking events, you do this many referral asks, this many speaking inquiries, whatever is working for them, we build out so that it aligns with how many prospects they want, how many leads they want, or how many clients they need, and then what their outcome, their financial outcome is that they want. It's very different than how most people run their business, but can you imagine? Checklist. Do the checklist, stop worrying where your business is going to come from. That's what this checklist that you see on your screen, that is what this is about, getting specific and tracking. Okay, and I'm going to skip this very impressive story about John so that we can make sure to get to. He's the former CFO of Microsoft. I did not know that before he hired me. So that was really an exciting day. But let's go on to the 6 essential elements of an effective client generation plan. I want to get to all of this so that you can get through this. Because in order to succeed, you've got to have a client generation system and plan that consistently attracts high quality clients. And I'm going to just quickly check on this with you. So client generation plan in the chat, let me know, yes or no, do you have a written client generation plan? Written client generation plan. Let's see, so no, very normal, yes. Ben, of course you do, Ben, you better. No, let's see, some no's. Okay. My own marketing plan, okay, yeah, of course. Not specific, kind of, not yet. Oh, specific is my favorite, one of my favorite words. Specific, specific, specific. Not yet. Way to go, Julie. Excellent. No. Okay, I have a theory on this. Couple of things. Generally, people do not have a client generation plan because 1, they've never thought about it this way. They thought of sales, they thought of marketing, they thought of social media, or number 2, they have gone tactically at their business. They've done a little bit on Facebook ads and a little posting on Instagram. They're going to do some blogging. That's tactical approaches that don't have a cohesive, overarching strategy. And that's what this plan is all about, what you see here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you some time that probably you very rarely take if you're like most business owners I know, and that is reflection and assessment. So let me simplify this for you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go through each of these 6 elements. I'm going to define each of them, and then I want you to assess your business in each of these areas on a scale of 1 to 10, where 1 is low and 10 is high. Because what I know is, for all of you people who said that you do not have a client generation plan, I know you have some of these elements, but they get mixed into business. So here we're going to sort out which you have, which you need, so you know where to focus your precious time and energy. Starting on the left is values and vision. This is important because when you have your values, vision, and your why completely clear, you create this sense of conviction. It gives you the courage to ask to be paid what you're worth, your willingness to put yourself out there, even if you risk rejection. So on a scale of 1 to 10, and you don't put this in the chat, please. This is just for you. So on a scale of 1 to 10, are you clear about your values, vision, and goals? Next is pricing and packaging. And this one is pretty obvious, but it's also important. Is your pricing structured so it's honoring your expertise, it's honoring your work, and you're owning your value? Is it structured so you're paying yourself decently, not just rolling everything back into the business? So the bottom line question is, are you clear and confident that your pricing is where it needs to be to reach your financial goals? Next is ideal client clarity. Little tip about describing your ideal client. Your description should never start with the words, "I'd be willing to work with." Got it? Get clear about who is ideal. Who can you serve at the highest level? Who will pay you at the highest level? And then build your business around it. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how clear are you about your ideal client? Who they are, what they're thinking, and where you can find them. Who they are, what they're thinking, and where you can find them. And then messaging, magnetic messaging, takes what you know about your ideal client and translates it into words everywhere they show up in your business. Your website, your talks, if you are a speaker, your social media posts, your 30-second introduction. And the key to making your messaging magnetic is communicating the value of what you do quickly from the perspective of your ideal client, so they hire you faster because they know you're speaking their language. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how magnetic is your messaging? Do you communicate your value quickly? Next is lead generation. That exercise you did today, that's the start of your lead generation strategy. So to assess what you have in place right now, think, do you have a specific set of actions that you're confident bring in the leads you want every month on a consistent basis? On a scale of 1 to 10, How confident are you about bringing in new leads consistently? And last but not least is sales and enrollment. It is a big bummer if you do all the rest of the work with excellence, all aligned, all working, and then you can't close the sale. Do you have a process, whether it's online or off? Do you have a process in place that keeps your buyers engaged so that you can ask to be paid what you're worth, so they convert, so you explain what the value of what you do without over-explaining it? Can you confidently convert a prospect into a paying client on a scale of 1 to 10? Now, here is how we bring this all together. Remember way back in the early days of our relationship when I showed you this slide and I said, this is what we got to land on? Well, here it is. We're landing. So if your ratings were a 6 or below across the board, then you're probably the highest need is a plan. You've got things going in a lot of different directions. You need to pull them together, get them into a plan so you're using your time wisely. If you have everything at all your numbers are above a 6, but you're not getting the results you want, there may be an implementation problem. And if you're in a stagnant mode, if you're not growing the way you want to, that may mean that you need to stop being distracted by bright, shiny objects. If you are in growth mode and you've got too much, then you're starting to have to do hiring and scaling. So an implementation issue. Now, if all your numbers are good, except for your lead generation number is low, then you simply need to focus on what is that lead generation strategy. Maybe you focus in on the referral generation. Maybe you focus in on the networking. Some of the things that you listed were working for you, the trade shows and so forth. And sometimes you need all 3. That just happens. It's okay. And there is a simple way to go from needing all 3 to thriving. And the thing is, this is Kimberly, and she needed all 3. She didn't have enough clients. She wanted out of a corporate job, didn't have that education from her university, not from her job, to generate clients. She knew where she wanted to go, but when she got up Monday morning, she was kind of like, okay, what do I do about this? How do I make this happen? So we worked together 7 weeks, built a very intentional plan, and it gave her the confidence to leap from the corporate job because she could see the consistency starting to happen. Okay, now right now I know what's happening. I know you guys are like, wow, I'm super happy for Kimberly. But what about you? What can we do right now to have our time together create lasting impact? I have 3 steps for you. The first thing I'm going to ask you to do right now is to write down a bite-sized action. Identify something very specific, bite-sized, that you can do, an action you could take as a result of our time here today that you thought of, and then commit to that. So I'm going to give you a second for that. Now, bite-sized is great, but I bet you wrote down more than one thing because if you're on the grow and you're moving and you want more, like I always do, I get it. So this brings us to the second step. And this is where we have to get into the creative centers of our brain. We've been doing a lot of strategic, logical left brain stuff, and I want to get your whole brain on board to the party. So at this point, I want you to take your hands off the keyboard, put your pen down, sit back in your chair. I invite you to take a deep breath. Close your eyes if you like. And I invite you to imagine having a steady stream of great clients coming in. These are clients who pay you what you're worth. You're making a difference. You're known for your expertise and your brilliance. And to attract those clients, you have a plan, and it's not just any plan. It's a plan full of things you love to implement, things that are simple and clear, where you feel authentic and you never feel pushy. You know what to do, you know where to go, and you know what to say to take prospects from that initial handshake to signing on the bottom line as a client. And you do this with confidence and with consistency and with ease. Take another deep breath and open your eyes. Yeah, is that a vision you can get behind? Yes, I hope so. So now I hope you're feeling a little inspired. You're like, yes, Mary, I see what I need to do. I need some structure. I need to work on my client generation. But what's the challenge with making changes? What's the next obstacle? You're a busy person. You're fired up now. How do you keep this level of focus and inspiration week after week so you really start seeing results? That brings us to point number 3. So at this point, I recommend you identify something really important. When thinking about what you want and need in your business, who do you have in your corner who's accomplished what you want to accomplish and is available to help you when you need it most? Now, some of you may have the support you need, but for those of you who don't, I invite you to schedule a call to explore the possibility of working together further. Now, this is a great option if you've been feeling a little stuck in your business and you're not sure why, like you're spinning your wheels, or if you've been looking for some kind of support but can't quite picture what that looks like. Now, these calls are complimentary, but they're really intended for people who are tired of feeling like your hard work just isn't paying off at the level you want, and you're serious about what it's going to take to change. You're decisive, you're willing to invest, and this is important. Making money has to be a priority. A really high priority in your business. So if that sounds like you, then on this call, we'll discuss your goals, we'll discuss what's getting in the way, and I'll make recommendations about which of my programs are going to give you the structure and strategy to reach your goals faster and with less stress. Now, I take this time with you personally because working together, it's an investment. I want us to both be 100% confident on the right fit for you. To get on my calendar, you simply go to breakthroughcall.biz, you pick a time, pick a date, you're done, one less thing to think about, and it puts you first in line. And if you're like, okay, Mary, I'm just jotting that down, I'll get around to that later. It's kind of late already. So I'm going to give you an incentive to go ahead and schedule now, so all this clarity and good intention doesn't get lost in the shuffle. When you book your call today, you'll receive a digital copy of my complete ebook of strategy and encouragement for the impact-driven entrepreneur. It's a perfect read for those days when we all have them, when you get that sinking feeling when you go to the Starbucks and you're like, wow, I could just go make coffee. All right. So I'm going to give, we're going to actually have a few minutes for questions. I'm super excited. So I'm going to do one last thing before we go over to some more questions, because I did see some more in the chat. I'm going to do a prize drawing. So I already gave you some resources. I'm going to give you more. If you would like, on the screen, you see the MarriottSimplyGetClients.com with subject line smile. I'm going to provide that simply referral generation made simple course. That's going to be really helpful in boosting your referrals. If you want to do more speaking as a way to grow your business, I've made over $1 million in the last 5 years speaking for free. So I share how to get on stages to do that. If you'd like that, let me know. Happy to get that to you as well. I'm going to give you a minute to send me that email, and then I am going to do a drawing for a hard copy of this book that I will mail to you. So yes, real mail in the mail, real paper, physical product. And I'm going to show you my incredibly low-tech way that I do my drawing. So I'm going to give you a minute to, oh, yep, I see smiles in my inbox. I'm going to give you another minute to get in. And then I'm going to go just to questions. All right. So here we go. I'm just going to scramble and let's see. Oh no, Hassan is the winner. And I know for a fact I cannot get it to Pakistan, but I will definitely send you the digital copy. So yay. Yay, Hassan. I'm sorry I can't send you the actual book. We tried sending it to England. We couldn't even do that. All right. I am going to come back around to you and I'm going to look in the chat. Let's see. Julie Davis, I'm emailing as soon as Zoom ends. Please let me win. Sorry. Let's see. Any questions? Roger, did you see any questions come through that I missed?
No, I didn't. No, you got them all.
Okay. Matthias had asked about where do you find networking events to go to? And actually, it's one thing that occurred to me for you, Matthias, and it might sound kind kind of odd, is National Association of Women Business Owners. Stay with me. They do a lot of work with connecting with supplier diversity, which is a great way to get products out there into the world. But you can literally say networking events near me. You'll find about 1 billion. Yep. Okay, questions. All right, few minutes for questions. No holds barred. Let's see. Also Google, the suggestion was Google Referral Club, my town. Yeah, perfect. All right, questions. I'm ready. Come on, I'm fired up. 6 o'clock at night here. Let's go.
Mary, I'm on your website. How do I find how to book that call with you? Because I don't see that on your website. I must not be doing something right.
Thank you. No, you just go to breakthroughcall.biz. Actually, I think I can put it in the chat. Oh, look at that. There it is. Yep. Yeah.
Oh, so I don't go on your website?
Nope, you use this one.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for asking instead of just being said. Awesome. And by the way, here's one thing I love. I've been doing this long enough so that if something didn't work, or if you're like, well, like this didn't quite work for me, I don't get it, or my business is completely different, that just didn't apply, I know how to translate a lot of this stuff. So ask the question. I have no skin in the game. I have no ego in this, and I'm happy to, I don't have to be right here. I just want to answer the questions. So translations, I'm happy to do.
Hey, Mary.
Yes.
If I cover shipping, can you send me a free copy of your book?
If you cover, you know what? It's no, no. I don't have access to free copies of my book, unfortunately. It is available on Amazon, and yeah, and I think it's inexpensive. By the way, the book was a total, like, someone got very angry at me, and so I wrote a book. So it's kind of just put together for my own amusement and to feel better about, you know, when you're growing. I don't know if anyone has had this experience. If you have, you know, just give a little wave. But if you've had the experience of you growing and you're out there in the world and people just feel like, oh, now I'm entitled to take pot shots at this person, people will try to cut you down. And that's where the title, Smile When They Call You Sleazy. Smile when they call you sleazy. That's the name of it. Yeah.
My brother said you sounded like a salesman, so I didn't read your text. I thought you were trying to sell me something. You were so professional. And then my friend said, well, I'm actually jealous of you because you seem to have it so together.
Yep. Yep. People are going to give you all their feedback. Matthias, the book is called Smile When They Call You Sleazy. By the way, just to let you know, I did not get the advice of any book coach, because that is not what any of them would advise me to call it, because it was more just a fun side project.
How much is it?
I don't know. I want to say $10, $15.
That's not bad.
Yeah, thanks. Okay, what would be really wonderful is if I'd love to see your bite-sized action step in the chat, or you can share it out loud. That can sometimes cement commitment just enough to push you over the edge. So what is
I want to do a podcast.
Do a podcast. Perfect. Greg, yes.
I make podcast intros.
All right. Actually, I'm gonna remove my spotlight so I can see more people, because I want to see everybody. There we go. Okay. Far easier to throw stones than build bridges. Amen. Yeah. Identify my ideal coaching client. One thing about ideal client is it's the way I love to do it is think about what they are wanting, what they are needing, what they are suffering with, what keeps them up at night, starting with the psychographic more than the demographic. A demographic has more to do with target market than ideal client. So in the way I think of it is the psychographic, what people want, what they're suffering with, what they're struggling with. That's what you say. In the target market, that's where they gather. So that's where you go. Also a word nerd. So I love that structure. All right, let's see.
I just want to highlight a couple of points that you made were really important. First, about the simplicity, that it can be very simple if you want it to be. You can, most small business owners especially, make it too complicated for themselves and get lost in it. And so, you know, if you have a few simple things, a few foundational things worked out for your business, everything else will just fall into place and grow from there. So I just want to highlight that.
Absolutely. When you were talking about that, I'm like, oh my gosh, we're so aligned. And I'm going to give you the post-it too. So the post-it is consistency kicks talent's ass, because it's have those things down, but then it's implementing. Because I know, you know, people who are less talented, who are out there ahead of it. Yeah, I hate that.
And the second thing that you talked about was referrals, which is, again, you know, you do not need to have a marketing budget. You do not need to have as drastic as that might really sound, but I see you nodding, Mary, and agreeing
100%.
to it.
Yeah.
That is the truth of the matter. If you have it down as to what you do and the service you provide, it will all, you know, create the ripple effect, and clients will come to you instead of you having to go to them. So
when you take, when you take the strategic actions that are very specific, very intentional, I think of it as the big three. If you know what to do, where to go, and what to say, and that's the strategy. That's pretty much, it's oversimplification, but you know, the whole marketing budget thing, I literally have like 4 or 5 things I do, and it's mostly speaking. 90% of what I do is speaking. Referral generation, do more of that right now because of the program we opened up. And then it's keeping in touch with a newsletter. And I got someone who does social media, but that's just visibility stuff. That's not lead gen. So simplify.
And the third thing that you mentioned was the coach, which, you know, people, I would say that if you can divert your marketing and advertising dollars to a coach, you will be eons ahead, you know, in terms of the progress that you can make in your business with just that simple guidance. If you have the right coach working with you, then you're going to grow so much more faster than you can ever imagine.
I love that you say that. I say, get your support system, but I'm like, it's a little self-serving sounding, but it's also 100% true. I mean, what was the second or third question? What's the most important decision? Hiring that coach. I stand by it. And I was literally talking about that Friday. So I know we're right at the end of time here, Roger, and people are starting to skate out. So
Mary, would you like to make some closing remarks? Or not, if you like.
I'm like, I'm done, I think.
You're done. Okay, well then, on behalf of EIN 75-ish thousand members, I thank you hugely. You've taken a massive topic, marketing, with its 500 dimensions, and you've really shrunk it down into a number of very simple core questions for people to ask themselves, and their answers will guide them as to what they need to do and how they need to do it. So, Mary, that very simple piece of guidance is invaluable. EIN and all its members, thank you hugely. Thank you.
Thanks, Roger. Thanks for organizing all of us. It's crazy what you do.
Can I ask a